What is up, guys and gals, frogs and tadpoles? It's your boy from Political Danqhouse, Elron Humperdinck. You know me on the webs. Dylan James, as you know me in real life. IRL, as the kids say. I'm wearing my Bernie Mac looking hat. I guess that's because I'm finna get all up in to Biden here. I was making sure I was recording. And got his video loaded up here. I just wanted to dissect it, not like, oh, I'm taking him down, because Biden takes himself down. You know, what I say is, Joe was once sitting in the Oval Office during the C-SPAN swearing-ins, and he was talking to a little girl, and people always say, what's he whispering in their ear? I know. I could read the lips. Joe said, hey, are your parents around anywhere? And she said, yeah, Mom and Dad's right over there. And Joe said, okay, bye then. I just wanted to, take a swipe at him. I just really don't like him. But this video was hard to find. Not hard to find, but you type it in and, you have to go to his Twitter to get it. He was supposedly, all these weeks, I've heard he's going to do it out in public. He's going to do it at Charlottesville. And all that crap, and I thought, oh, Charlottesville. But in person, and then he's not. I don't know if he cowered it out, but I mean, he's never been one to retract, especially when it came to his hands. But we're going to look at it and see what he's going about. Let me read this first. It says, the core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America, America, is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. Hashtag Joe2020. YouTube link. This is April 25th. This is about 4 days ago. What day was that? Yeah, it's last Thursday. I'm a little late on it, but, it hadn't even been a week. Been feeling bad. But with Biden, it's hilarious because Obama won't even endorse him. And they're supposed to be like that, they were the dream team, they were bros, they were destroying racism. They were like Brian's song of the Oval Office. It was great. Not really. But, and I've said this in a video before when I was testing this camera out, it was rough shot. But to make a long story short, the Democrats can't have Joe Biden because their party is not straight white males as a figurehead anymore. They can't do it. They're the party of diversity, and they're against Trump, and they painted Trump as a white nationalist. It's funny that Trump is orange man bad, and then he's a white supremacist. At least make him an orange supremacist, or the angry orange. At least you'll get some of your millennials to go, damn, not bad of a joke, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they want, and it proves with their campaigning strategy. But Biden comes in, and he polls well, and he says, hey, this is my chance. He's like Hillary, but a male. He comes in, this is my chance. All the people under me are shit. Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, or as they say, butt judge. All these other people. Who are all these other people? Julian Castro. I don't know if Gillibrand was going to run. She's not going to be able to run with that Nexium stuff over her head. She looks like if Tom Petty was a woman and ugly. But to get back to Biden, here he is. Coming in strong arming. Biden for president. America is an idea. And before I get started, I wanted to say, I saw Nick Fuentes had broke this down one time, and I think of it the same way too. You look at the two sides, if you want to look at left and right, or traditional America and what, New Age America. New Age America sees America as an idea. The old guard, you'll have to watch his video. I can leave a link for it in the description. Nick Fuentes, that is. And the right wing say, the old guard that loves America and all this stuff, they're about the culture and somewhat, about race and all this crap. But not like crap as in it doesn't matter, but as in not the lefty terms, like, all about race, but they take into consideration that a lot of these people coming into the country at least back in the day, we had Ellis Island. People had to sit for 30 days to make sure they were quarantined. No diseases, no this, no that. They wanted to learn English, or and if we spoke Spanish here, then I would say the same damn thing. It's the dominant language. Learn the English. There's a lot of people that want to try and do that. We're rushing things through now, and so it's changing the culture completely. People bringing their cultures and they're staying here with their culture and every part of the bad culture. And people are saying, well, that's fine. This diversity, we're trying to make America everything, and so it's like oil and water. You can't open the door and let all that come in and not have it push or take over what made it America in the first place out. And democracy, this word right here, we don't know. Democracy is mob rule. We live in a constitutionally represented republic. I don't know if it's just an assault, propagandistic assault when it comes to language. They'd love to do that, but we're not a democracy. We're not a true democracy. 51% can't vote to kill the other 49. I know they'd like to do that, but hence the popular vote. Let's get into Biden. I shouldn't say that. Biden's not usually the one getting into things. Well, he is. He's not usually the one getting someone into him. It is. Start this out.
Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights.
I just want to say, to start out immediately, he's with the Charlottesville thing, of course. I mean, I talked about this to preface it. And here's Obama giving him the medal for some reason. It's kind of weird. It's like your coach giving the MVP award for the entire game to his teammate when there's two teams. You know what I mean? It's like someone teaching their own kid when you give someone an award like that. Whatever. But he's immediately evoking Charlottesville because he knows there's a lot of misinformation around it. He knows it's emotional. Someone died. At least, I think it's kind of weird that, a left-winger at this point in America's political cycle and climate is uttering the words of a founding father in a constitution without, their eyes exploding or bursting into flames. It's almost like The Exorcist when something happens like that. I've heard people in my immediate circle that work around at things and they go, that you'll hear in the back of your ears, you'll hear, and it's probably due to whatever they're doing with the zoning or this or that. It's probably some old 200-year-old law anyways. And every time I think that's code for Constitution, that's outdated. We need a change. And that's what Biden's doing here. America is an idea. An idea is always changing. But with America as a nation, as a concept, I know a concept and idea, but you know what I mean, a concept that was set and agreed upon. What he's trying to say here with his, we hold these truths to be all that stuff, he says it, but he's like one of those pseudo-Christians. And I'm Christian. I'll attack who you're talking about. The ones that want to get a Bible verse on their arm or their ass cheek or something. They're not into the word. That's just like him. He's telling you the fucking equivalent of emotional popcorn when it comes to quotes. He don't want to get into the Thomas Paine. He don't want to get into the other parts. But he's saying this quote here. It probably has nothing to do with anything. Endowed by their creator. He's the type to say that we're too white of a country. We're too Christian of a country. It's time to dial it back and let somebody else have a turn. And you look at their agenda and what they've done. They want to say, you guys think we live under God, and they spit, and here he is. We're endowed by their creator, so it's okay when he does it. Once in God we trust off of the police vehicles and government vehicles. People don't have Bibles in school. That after school study, they'd have to be off campus to even do it for a Bible study. They want in God we trust off the money that's been floated. You don't talk about religion in school because you get kicked out. We don't even have to swear in. You don't have to swear in on the Bible if you don't want to. You can swear on the Quran, a Torah. Cinema swore in on law books. She's not particularly religious or however that was. See, we don't. If we were in a Christian theocracy, I hate when that happens, when people say that crap. And I'll probably go into this on a deeper level, but the abortion comment, we live in a Christian theocracy. They just want their hands in someone's body. Not really. The abortionist is the one that wants their hands in a woman's body to rip the kid out. And you think that we'd be pushing abortion up to past the damn 40th week if we lived in a Christian theocracy? Blasphemy laws, you think they'd be piss Christ? You think there'd be Jesus Christ, even stuff like Jesus Christ Superstar? That's lighter hearted, but if we really lived in a place where you can't talk about it at all, give me a damn break.
We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them. Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment.
Saying it again?
In the last few years.
Charlottesville.
It was there.
So there's the tiki torches. Completely separate from the free speech event they had the next day. It had cleared out by then. They like to conflate the two events together. See, he's doing this here real snakily, and he looks like they're start coming in with their fucking pitchforks. Yeah, we're about to smash heads, and look, they're setting up, bracing with their eagle shields. Oh, they're Nazis. I can see the collars of Proud Boys. I mean, if you look at this back, it's people bracing themselves for Antifa, who's coming to throw bottles and piss-filled balloons and stuff. Real nasty people. Real disgusting, filth, really. Cowards, want to cover their face, want to use a technique called black block. We hit somebody and you run back into the school like you're a bunch of fish. Real predator you are, running around in the school like fish. But he's been deceptively edited. They've got a good team. They're going to push the narrative. Don't talk about how the police said, all right, we need to get you guys out of here immediately. There wasn't even a rally like they want to say that there was. They were chasing people immediately out, and the police were escorting these people who had no weapons. All this stuff happened a little later. There's makeshift stuff they had. But you go into a rally and you're going there for it, you're going to get your stuff confiscated. I've been there. And so if you're Antifa and you're coming up to crash it, by the time you crash it, there's so much disarray, no one's going to say, hey, turn that weapon in before you guys start throwing punches or whatever. We want a fair... No, they're going to come in, they're going to throw M80s, quarter stick of dynamite, fireworks, stuff that could blind you, piss and shit-filled balloons. And the people that have had their weapons confiscated have to go through, back to where they came, and Antifa has already encircled them. And the police are all but, leading them into it. And they knew what they were doing. And there's a lot of stuff about the Heather Heyer death, to where she was in bad shape before, and, you can't talk about that because people are dead. There's a guy waving a gun at James Field who got convicted, which is terrible. Not for I gotta stand up for my fellow white guy, or all right, we took a hit. Someone is on tape gassing it down a place where they had been run that way. They had been run to that position into the wrong road because Antifa. And there's a guy who said, yeah, I waved him off with my rifle. And no one wants to see that. No one wants to talk about that. And here he is. Here's this professor. Let me see if I'll play this. Riot.
So James Fields driving his Charger, slow roll our western perimeter. So that was 4th Street several times. One time he paused right in front of me, and I waved him off with my rifle. And his last pass, he accelerated and I walked away and killed Heather.
Look at all the black. But anyways, look. You hear that? Let's catch that again. Waved him off. And then what happened, Professor? So you hear this professor waved a gun at someone, which is a felony in any situation, even in a stand your ground law type of thing. If someone's not ready for it, they're not posing a threat. James Fields had no weapon. He was driving and looks out the window and sees this. The guy's waving a gun at him. You wave a gun at somebody, I don't know how this professor has still got his job or not even been arrested, let alone has his job. I don't know what he's doing with a rifle. Who knows if he even had a concealed to carry permit. Nobody like that does what's right.
In August of 2017, we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces.
And before they tell you that, people say, oh, the rebel flag, they'll use the slang for something. Like trickle-down economics. People will say, oh, trickle-down economics, you Republicans. Oh, it's not trickle-down economics. It's actually, you cut the marginal rates of taxes and your profits flow upward, if at all. You always pay your workers first. They're not going to fucking work for you if you don't pay them first. You're not going to say, oh, if I keep 1,000 and then whatever's left, I guess I'll let them fight over it. You're going to get people that are leaving. And you can prove businesses around you, people are not leaving saying they're not paying me. So obviously it's going to the workers first, and anything else left goes into growth. But Will Rogers, a comedian, these Democrats are picking a comedian's words in, I think it was 1930s or so, saying, oh, trickle-down economics. And now you hear it to this day, talking shit like Reagan came up with it. He may have used it, because he's heard it, but he didn't come up with that, and that's not what that represents. And Thomas Sowell, the economist, he said, who I'm thinking of, he's the one who said that you cut marginal tax rates and they flow up, if at all. And that's why you're always putting back. You don't put back first and then you pay your bills. You say, I'd like to keep 800 out of 1,000. You say, oh, my bills are 500. I'm going to pay 500. Then you put back the 500. You don't say, oh, I'm going to put back 800 and, oh, well, I've only got 200 left, so I'm going to owe 300 on my bills. You always pay your workers first, pay your bills first, and anything else is left. It's completely opposite. Same thing with this. The rebel flag. It's not even a rebel flag. It's not even a Confederate flag. It's their battle flag. And the reason you'd see that more than you would is over the flag over the nation of Dixie is because most of the time you see that context, it's about the Civil War. But you got to throw that in there too. That's gonna people may not know it. I don't know if it will, how many people it'll affect, but you could think of Dylan Roof and the Charleston Church, and they made that about the big battle flag and all that stuff, and that started this whole statue thing even more. And my thing is, if you don't like the statue, that's fine. If you want to rival it, make something. There's people that create, people that destroy. Make something to rival it and put it across the street. Don't tear someone else's shit down just to tear it down. And they say we don't believe in statues and idolizing people, and then they'll make something else. They'll put some, gay, black, lesbian dragonkin in its place. So really it's not about we don't want statues idolizing people. It's about rewriting history, and not for the sake of good. Because knowing your history is about knowing good and bad. And so I wanted to divert on that Confederate battle flag. They're trying to invoke that, church shooting that was, racist, black on white, but they didn't make it about Christians. They made it about black on white. There's a guy killing Christians.
Illuminated by torches, veins bulging, and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s.
Do you hear that? People are saying they've heard Jews will not replace us. I've heard people say that in certain things, but listen, this sounds like you.
Across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans.
No S. You. They don't say yous.
A violent clash ensued. And a brave young woman lost her life.
And to be fair, when it comes to that, people want to say, oh, well, they're bad. And I had an argument with someone that I worked with at one point who didn't even know about Antifa. They're like, well, I don't know who you're bringing up, Dylan. They can't be as bad as Nazis because Nazis are established. Well, they were in World War II. Antifa wasn't even around back then. Like, it has to do with how old something is. Say the same person would be surprised over an 18-year-old who's just as good as Jordan in basketball. I could pull the same thing on him, but he's only 18. It doesn't matter how good he is. He hasn't aged yet. He hasn't had enough duration for him to be a threat. And I said, really, man? You don't even know Antifa. You're not paying attention. You should know that they were black bloc in Occupy Wall Street. And they become Antifa. And there's European Antifa. But it just blew my mind. And, like, you can't compare them. Yes, you can. You treat them all the same. When it comes to that, you cannot, like, even what they said. They could go down the street yelling stuff about it's going to be a great day when Jews are dead or niggers are dead or lesbians are dead. I can't wait until they're all dead. They're not threatening anybody, at least in that phrase. They're hoping things. They may have bad optics with your tiki torches at Walmart. They're going to ruin barbecues and cookouts for everybody now. But you're giving them what they want. But they're just marching around. Antifa cannot let someone march around because, oh, they're spreading hate. And someone said this about me in a town I was at. He's coming through to march through. And I'm like, what? All fucking 5 of them from across the tri-state area? People act like we will not tolerate this. We will stand against this. I said, just let them come and show their ass and be stupid. If they would have done that here, Antifa could have got some sympathy, but they can't let somebody. And as much as you don't like, say, a neo-Nazi or even an alt-right or even people you would consider fascists, if they're going around chanting, they're not. If Antifa's going around even and saying white privilege is white privilege, as long as they don't lay their fucking hands on me, I don't mind it. I don't care. They have that right. No one's going to go about that because, oh, it's okay to punch a Nazi. We've hit Richard Spencer. And blah, 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 blah. We've made it okay because speech is violence. Speech is violence.
Clash ensued. And a brave young woman lost her life.
And as you can see, he said a brave young woman lost her life. She died during the day. That's night. That's so deceptive. And she had body problems. She was overweight. She had problems in the past. And if you look at her, there's posts, you go out there and look at it, she's there saying, she's one of those girls, like Moldy Logs, about to go out and get me some Nazi scalps. She was a big, tough girl. And what's bad is you got people like Biden and other people putting women in these positions saying, yeah, I'm a Nazi hunter, I'm a whatever hunter. And they're going out there and getting their heads smashed in because someone's told them, yeah, you can hit a Nazi and nothing will happen. You can hit someone that you think is a Nazi. You can call somebody a Nazi just so you can hit them. It's dangerous. It's like teaching a child that bigger people won't be able to hurt you. You learn that early. You stop hitting people. You don't lay your hands on people unless you're defending yourself. It's just so deceptive. He's going straight to the day without clips of the day. Unless he...
We heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world.
Here we go.
And shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides.
I haven't seen Biden's eyes light up like that since he saw a 3-year-old in a red dress being, thrown on the altar of political prowess in Washington, D.C. just so they could get that senatorial job. I don't know if senatorial is even a word, but it doesn't matter. He's sitting there, it's a clip out of context. If you, someone that has gotten me started wanting to film myself and talking about these things is Hard Bastard. You check him out at hard_bastard on Twitter or YouTube, Hard News Network. He covers this extensively. You can read the transcripts. Trump is saying, even in the interview, he says there are really fine people on both sides. There were people there that didn't like the idea of the statue. There were people there that wanted to preserve history and thought of it as moving too fast. And you had people, and I'm not talking Trump. You can look back on this if you're not a snake, and specifically see where Trump said, "I'm not talking about, but Mr. President." He does that thing. Quiet. I'm not talking about the Nazis. I'm not talking about far right. I'm not talking about alt right. I'm not talking about all these people you're trying to lump in. I'm talking about people that came there to film, because people that come there to film were getting in trouble. I mentioned him earlier, Nick Fuentes. He went there to interview people, and now that's all he's known for, the alt right guy, right? And the alt right fucking hates him.
With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between...
And anyways, what's the difference? If anything, he was conceding too much to the Antifa. I'm one of those people that knows you can have somebody that's a diehard hippie, old school yuppie, you know. Oh, this is just our past. I want to be the person that tears something down. I want to be that revolutionary, you know. But come on. You know, Antifa, you know that there was bad on that side.
Between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it.
So Antifa's got the courage to stand against it. They don't have the courage. They are brats. They're not confident. They're arrogant. Because not only do they have they've got the will to fight back, they've got their faces covered. They've got weapons. They've got the backing of the police in Democratic controlled and leftist and definitely university areas. They've got their backing, and they can do no wrong. They will not get in trouble. They'll get bussed in. They will not get charges. The Proud Boys got in trouble after someone hit them in the head with something on film, and they're being run towards it, and someone goes to throw a punch. They're fighting it. They're defending themselves. They've gotten in trouble in New York because Cuomo's brother. It's Andrew Cuomo, the mayor, and you know, Bill de Blasio. So they had something to do with that.
At that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my life.
So for 8 years, he didn't know.
I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation. Well, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation.
He's right, but what he means by the soul of this nation is where he wants to take it, and what we said earlier, he wants America to be this melting pot. This what they try to teach you in school. What America is or is what they want it to be. This Marxist. I know it's used a lot, but this Marxist. The white man's going to be triumphantly overtaken, and we're going to be this modge podge of people, and we're all going to get along, and we're finally going to realize that the European Christian values that America has lived on is just so terrible. And that's what they're doing with the border, pushing people in, all these things, and diversity for everybody, but, you know, the culture that we actually were founded on. They want to remap this country.
I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time.
I put my hat back on for this.
But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation.
That's true to an extent, because people are taking it serious. You can not like it. As someone I was talking about in the other video, they said, "Oh, he's just so crass," and I think that it's just so stupid to see somebody care about a hero or wanting to look the part and all that. But because Trump may have said things and may have done things, you know, in the past, like, oh, he's more sexually libidinous than me, even me. But you have somebody like Bill Clinton. I never heard anybody say, yeah, and I had a problem when it came to that. In fact, people say, oh, he shouldn't have got in trouble for that, and I agree. But my problem is the person that's saying that is equating the two, and, well, it's okay for Bill Clinton to do it. I just don't like Trump. He's just so crass. At least Bill Clinton could lie really good and look kind of classy while he did it. That's all they want. Trump can do the most evil shit. He could do what he's doing now, and as long as the people didn't know about it, the media was being complicit, like they were with Obama or even with Bush some when it came to the war. Some, but you know, in the beginning it was a lot. They lied us into war. It's fine now. It's actually a good thing that the media and Trump are so at odds now, because everybody's searching for the truth, and it's going to come out. You can't hide somebody. Even if Trump goes into a war right now and was invading somewhere, it wouldn't be like a Bush where Brian Williams is there and he's stroking it. Oh, how bright the beautiful missiles are. You know, the one that said Trump finally became president when he bombed the Syrian airfield. Now people hate Trump so much that they're willing to try to get anything on him, and some stuff is good. Like people wanting to be more anti-war. They're not doing it for the right reasons, but it's coming out that way. But it's changing the country for the better, in my opinion, bringing it back, revamping it. We're going to get destroyed by China and Russia and Israel and all these countries. We're going to get murked in the Middle East and all this if we don't figure out our shit, figure out what is ours, where we stand, how we want to progress in the future, because they're figuring their stuff out. And we're over here trying to figure out who wants to go in which bathroom. And why can't we have this president? Why can't we have the Neapolitan ice cream Congress? Why can't we? But that's what he's boiling it down to. His two different views of America.
Who we are, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen. The core values of this nation are standing in the world, are very
He can't stand by and let a little girl go untouched either.
America is at stake.
That's
why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
He's going to put y'all back in chains.
Folks, America's an idea. An idea that's stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant.
So there's a dictator, tyrant,
It
Trump.
gives hope to the most desperate people on earth. It
When a Pinochet
guarantees
comes, you're not going to be ready
treated
for
with
it.
dignity.
You'll have cried wolf too
It
much,
gives
Biden.
hate no safe harbor.
Hate no safe
It
harbor.
instills in every person in this country the belief that no matter where you start in life, there's nothing you can't achieve if you work at it. That's what we believe. And above all,
So would the no matter where you start, would that count for people that are given a little bit more? Because Trump, Trump was helped out when he was younger. His dad put him in a good position. His dad busted his ass. That's how things work. But I would hear somebody like him saying, "Oh, sounds like a frat boy or whatever. Or someone who has too much money. Mr. Trump just does not know how to be president, or he has no empathy." Yeah. So I wonder if it works like that, or if he's just talking about you can come from dirt poor anywhere. Because a lot of people, he may have made a lot of people that might want to run for president as a black person one day, because he's helped to put a lot of people in prison for minor drug offenses with that crime bill. It's either 94 or 96. I always confuse it. I used to laugh at my mother for this. I'm 26 now and getting to the age where I'll mix the two, and I've always mixed that one up, 94, 96. I think it's the 96, but crack cocaine was treated different than cocaine. You know why? Because rich white people like Bill Clinton, like Biden and all these, not saying he does coke, but their people were fine because they were in the rich class. They could afford the cocaine. And then someone that did crack, oh, they got more prison. It's the same damn drug. It's free based. So I don't want to hear him talk about this class system and anybody can make it from anywhere, because he doesn't care. Sorry. Oh.
That's what's at stake in this election. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville.
There it is again.
Even more important, we have to remember who we are.
More demonizing, Joe. Squash that conversation, just like in Charlottesville. We'll get more of it, Joe. Exactly what you want. America is an idea. 76-year-old former Delaware senator. There's a lot on him. He's this crappy guy. He's getting up there in age. Trump would destroy Biden. I'm glad he's running. I can't wait for all this stuff to come out on him. But the Democrats that he's talking about, who's going to fundamentally change America, your party is fundamentally changed. You old guard, you're the old white type of guy, the old erudite. They're done with you, Joe. They don't want you, Joe. They're going to feed you to the wolves, Joe. Hey, Joe, where are you going with that girl in your hand? Not to the 2020 victory, you dumb bastard. This is Dylan James. You know me as L. Ron Humperdinck for Political Danqhouse. Keep hopping to it. And hop the hell away from Joe Biden.